there is this big misconception that in order for you to achieve something you have not achieved before, all you need to do is act and behave in a new way that will produce you the result that you want. While it is true that in order for you to achieve new kind of outcomes, you need to act and behave also in new ways, that is only a part of the whole equation. In order for you to act and behave in new ways, you also need to think in new ways. And one other part of that equation is that you also need to feel in a new way. So feeling or emotional states and your thoughts, they go together. Thoughts and perspectives affect your emotional states and feelings. For example, you can think about your desired outcome and see yourself in your mind's eye failing or not achieving the desired outcome, and that makes you feel bad. However, if you see yourself succeeding, there's a good chance that you feel at least better. Now, the other thing is that it very often is the case that you first need to change how you feel in order for you to have those successful thoughts or the thoughts where you see yourself succeeding. We also have these kind of triggers that are called anchors in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, that for whatever reason, usually unconsciously, they trigger us to have certain kinds of emotional states or feelings. It could be, a trigger could be like a song that you hear. Some songs make you feel good, some songs might make you feel bad, sad or whatever. Those songs could be attached to a memory from the past. Or it could be a smell of something that makes you feel good, or maybe a smell of a vomit that makes you feel bad. It could be something that you hear, it could be something that you see, smell or taste, whatever. There are a lot of different things that might trigger certain kinds of emotional states and feelings in us. Regardless of the feelings, we still have the capability of choosing our thoughts. I can look at something and feel angry and have angry thoughts about something. Or I can choose to have, let's say, loving thoughts when I look at something. If I see a snake, for example, I can have fearful thoughts and feel fear in my body. Or I can choose to think, what a beautiful creature of nature. Look at that, look at those scales, look at those colors, look at how the sun is reflecting on the scales of the snake, or whatever. So we do have that ability. The thing is just that we are most of the time by far so accustomed to think in a certain ways and feel in certain ways and therefore also act in certain ways. So if I see that snake, even if it's not poisonous snake, and I feel fear, then I would also act and behave accordingly and have those fearful thoughts. So how do you change the way you think, the way you feel? While there are a lot of different kinds of tools and techniques that will help you kind of change the way you feel and the way you think about something, the one thing, especially in the long term, that is very, very beneficial for you is to become aware of your thoughts and your emotions, your emotional feelings, emotional states and your feelings. Perhaps the best way to kind of practice that awareness is that each and every time when you notice that you are in a negative state of mind, you have negative feelings, whether it's, sadness, grief, anger, disappointment, frustration, whatever, then just stop and notice, I have this negative feeling. And then ask yourself, so what am I thinking about? And how am I thinking about whatever I'm thinking about that? By stopping, you can practice your awareness. And when you become aware of your emotional states, your feelings and your thoughts, that's also the time when you can start changing them. When you feel that, okay, I'm having this anger, for example, stop. Okay, so I'm having this anger. You might pay attention where in your body that anger feels. You feel that anger. How it feels. What kind of feeling is it? What are you really thinking about? And then one technique is to let go of that anger. Just accept it. Accept that, okay, here I am. I'm feeling anger. Just let it dissipate. It will. It might take a few minutes. It might happen a lot faster as well. That's one thing. And when that feeling of anger dissipates from your body, it absolutely also has to change the way you think about whatever you were thinking about. Now, of course, in a heat of anger or something like that, it is very difficult, again, because we are so accustomed to feel that way, to think that way in those situations, to stop and start to practice letting go. So there are, like I said, there are different techniques as well. So NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming, has very good methods and techniques and tools how you can change those triggers that trigger you to feel anger. Or you can use hypnotherapy. There are all kinds of different tools. There are EFT and all kinds of things. But like I said, yes, they can help you get started. However, when you really want to grow as a person, when you really want to kind of like take control of your thoughts and your feelings, and therefore also then your actions and behaviors, you really need to stop. You need to learn to stop and practice awareness. With those tools that I mentioned, yeah, those are great tools to get you started. And once you have kind of sense of that control, that you know that you can change your thoughts, you can change how you feel, then with that, I bet you can also much easier start to practice that awareness. Now, when you come to that state, meditation or meditations, because there are all kinds of meditations, will be great help for you. You don't need to meditate hours and hours. Sometimes even 1 minute can be enough. Then it might be 2 minutes, then it might be 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 and so on. However, meditating and different kinds of meditations, they will help you with that. The ultimate goal is really to first take control of your thoughts and your feelings, your emotional states. And trust me, it is possible. And once you have gained that control, then you might start to kind of like give room for inspiration, for intuition. However, as long as you are being controlled by the environment, so that you are reacting to the environment, whatever triggers those negative emotions, fears or anger or frustrations and so on, then you are not in control of your life. Once you gain control of your thoughts, feelings, emotional states, then you take control of your behaviors and actions. And once you have that, you can also let go of that control and give more room for inspiration, intuition. I have more videos where I touch bases with these all kinds of things like intuition and inspiration or fears and so on. So you can go ahead and watch those. Right now, I hope this video has given you some kind of idea, somehow kind of sense and confidence that you can take control of your life. You can take control of your thoughts, your emotional states, your behaviors, and your feelings. Thank you so much for watching this video, and